Guys, welcome back on the Krytac today. So this is our Krytac Kriss Vector gas blowback, and we've been doing some upgrades to this so far. So far it's wearing a BOWMASTER steel outer barrel, BOWMASTER steel charging handle, BOWMASTER steel slide or bolt catch release. If you remember, I did get the BOWMASTER carrier, which I haven't currently got fitted because I think it's too much for this platform personally. And we've also got the Hephaestus, I always struggle to say that word, Hephaestus, I think, piston head fitted, which has made a big difference to efficiency. Really impressed with that upgrade. If you haven't done it, get one. Transforms the platform. However, we do have something new to fit to this today, and I saw it advertised. It come up suddenly, and I grabbed one, and I think I was one in a handful of people to get one because they're now sold out. I got another BOWMASTER part. I've got the BOWMASTER stainless steel receiver frame set. I also got another BOWMASTER part in here as well, which is something that I've got, and I don't know whether I'm going to bother fitting it, but is the firing pin spring. Now, it doesn't say this is an enhanced part, so I'm debating whether or not I fit it, but I am going to be having this apart, so it might be worth fitting at the same time, but we'll see. So what we have is our stainless steel frame set. Now, the reason I've got this is, if you remember when I looked at the inside of the Krytac, a lot of the frame rails are very worn and distorted. Let me show you what I mean. If we look on the inside of the rails here, you can see there's a lot of what you can see here is actually graphite powder. But you can see there's a lot of wear on the inside of here, and also notice this section here. I mean, this is really, you can even see looking down this here, it dips in and then over these little bumps and back out again. There's a lot of wear around that section. You can see it obviously there. Now, all of that wear is extra friction. So it is causing us issues. Now, one of the issues that you do have with this system so far is, it's gas efficiency. It's struggling to push the bolt back with the little piston nozzle it has. So we really need to try and help it wherever we can. And I believe this will be the perfect addition. This is all CNC'd. You can see it is all perfectly flat and smooth. It has the added bonus as well. We've got a nice serial number there, very low serial number. I don't know whether that's a legit one or not. But it also has our Kriss USA markings as well, showing Cal 919. So that is a fantastic little upgrade there. It's pretty weighty. That's the only thing I will say with this. I didn't really want to add any more weight to this because I feel that the Krytac or the Kriss Vector system is heavy enough on its own. But yeah, this one is going to pack the weight on a little bit, I think. But we'll compare the two. Now, I suspect looking at this, you can see we've got this brass bushing here. Now, this little bit of paper does get included in the package. And it says, use original pins. Now, I don't know why it says use the original pins, because we've got these ones fitted. Now, whether or not these are just for while it's, being sold, or I don't know. But we're going to measure them and see if they're any different. It might be that these are slightly narrower or thicker than the originals. So anyway, before we get cracking with this, the first thing we need to do is get this all apart. So you guys have seen me taking this apart before, so I figured I wouldn't just bore you with the same process again and make the video even longer than it's already going to be. So if you are not sure how this comes apart, check out my other video on upgrade your Kriss Vector efficiency and external enhancements. That has a full breakdown of how you remove all these parts and get this apart. Obviously, I'm going to take it down to a certain point. We're going to start comparing the plates, and then we'll go from there. Right, so now the next protocol is we need to take these frames apart. I am obviously going to then I'm going to check out the bushing length. So I'll take this one apart first and see what we have. That's a different size. But I mean, look at the inside of these rails here, perfectly CNC'd, exactly what you need for this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this will massively improve some efficiency. Fingers crossed, we'll have to wait and see. It's a shame that they aren't using these, because say these look like they're nice, either aluminium or stainless. It look like stainless steel to me, to be fair, bushings. So it was a shame that they're not using them. But I suspect either they're just for selling, or alternatively there was the intention of using them, but they've realised there's a problem, so you have to use the originals. But I will measure them against the standard ones and see what we got. And you can see part of the reason for changing this over is if we look on the original Krytac receiver, you can see it says Krytac officially licensed product, whereas as I've already showed you on this one, we have all the Kriss markings, which is really nice. So we need to get this one apart now. Now there's quite a few screws involved. I'm just going to split one side, put the other side on, and then split the other side. I'm not going to do it sort of individually. Okay, so this now should lift off. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here now. Let's give this a bit of a clean. So if we look inside here, notice, if I can zoom you in a bit, guys. Okay, now if we have a look here, hopefully you guys can see that there is a lot of wear here, a very uneven wear. Zoom you right in, you can see there's lots of sort of where these rollers have been rolling inside here and really pinching in. We've got a bit of uneven wear here. You can see the wear on the top, on the front face here as well. Very sort of, you know, heavily worn in here, and then there are bumps here. And again, this is not particularly flat here. So there's a good reason why they're changing this over. It looks like this was fairly well CNC machined, but being that this is a much softer material than the other components running against it, that's why these are deforming. And to be fair, I would actually argue that these are similar weight. These are still definitely a bit heavier, but not massively. But you can see the difference in quality of materials here. Much, much better. Now, what I am going to quickly do is just going to take all these bushings off and check length. Okay, so first of all, outer diameter, we're looking at 6mm. Slightly under 6. Okay, then that makes a huge difference. Length, 20.5mm. 20, okay, yeah, these are too tight, that's what it is. Yeah, that probably explains a few things. Probably explains why they're wanting you to continue to use these original ones. Now, do we change this spring while we're here? Now, I'm kind of want to say no, but basically what it is, it's this hammer spring in here. This is the hammer, which you got the main hammer, but then it hits on this section here, and it hits this here, and that obviously goes forwards like this, and then there's this little spring assistance here which lifts this up. That's what that spring is for. I don't think that we really need to go messing around with that, personally. I think I'm going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to change that. I'm going to leave that well alone. Right, anyway, let's fit our new plate on here then. Oh, drops in lovely. Right, flip this over. Okay, so let's have a look at this side, shall we? See how bad it is. Yeah, pretty bad. Like I said, the thing is I don't think this is, you know, causing too much of an issue because it will wear down. But I mean, running my finger in there, it's really like it's really rough. It's where the bolt is sort of pinching and pivoting. It's not going to help. Right, let's just check we've got contact all the way around. It looks pretty good. But no, that's all sort of in place now. So I guess next thing to do is just reassemble then. All right, let's just, okay. You can see it is a little bit on the tight side, but then it is completely dry. So long story short here, I had assembled the vector back together, and we're still having some issues with it binding up. Now, I'll show what I did to fix this a little bit later on. You can see here I'm using some graphite powder, which is what I use preferably over any kind of oil if I can, because it's a dry lubricant. And I got it working okay, but it was still binding up a little bit and needed a little bit of work. And again, like I said, I'll show you what I did a bit later in this video. So as you can see, I was just reassembling, working the action back and forth, but with still a lot of binding. So if you're after something which is an out-of-the-box upgrade, I would not recommend these plates. They were a really nice looking and very well built item, but if you wanted to just slap them in and it work, these are not for you. So in a moment you'll join me a different day where I'm going to reattempt this. Welcome back on another day. Let's lift this plate off and inspect it. A lot of graphite, but I did put a lot in it. Now we can see a bit of wear, mainly actually on these parts here, which I did notice this on the carrier. Let's just clean the carrier up and see if we've got similar kind of wear patterns. So it's going that way round. Yeah, we have got some wear on the edge here. There's actually quite a lot this side here at the top. So if we look at the other side, not actually as bad. So yeah, we have got some contact issues. Something is definitely rubbing against here and causing excess friction, because again, you know, we've done 300-400 hand racks, so this will give us an idea where the wear is. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount in this track here. This seems pretty good. Let's just run these bearings on the inside of it and see what we've got. Now, I will say, that isn't really smooth. You know, that is, I mean, you can hear it. And actually, even running that back and forth, notice if we look, hopefully if I zoom you guys in, you can see what I mean. Just pushing this bearing back is just pushing it back with a little bit of force. It's actually turning this. It's wanting to roll more than it's wanting to slide. So that tells me there is some friction there. So yeah, these edges are very sharp as well on this, which again is not going to help. So maybe we sand these slightly, maybe we polish in here. And once again, you join me another day. So as you can see, this has been a few attempts trying to get this working. Essentially what I'm talking about here is we're going to do something about these and try and make these work a lot better. So what we're going to be doing is polishing inside. Now when I first fitted these in, we were getting lots of binding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror polish these. Now these are stainless steel, and you can see I've already done this one here. So basically how I've done this, you can see the difference between the two, is I've got a small block with some 1200 wet and dry paper, and I've just run it back and forth in the groove. You can hear that's reasonably smooth now, whereas if we listen to, get some fresh grit, we'll listen to how it sounds on this one. You can hear the difference, it's quite substantial. So the idea of this is we're just removing the coating which is on here, and I have no idea what kind of coating it is, but it is extremely rough. So the idea of this, removing this coating, is just so that we're getting a nice smooth surface for the bolt carrier to travel up and down in. It's quite a long process, this didn't, take me 10 minutes, it's taken a bit longer than I really wanted it to, but So here we go, so these are now mirror polished. You can see, got a nice reflection in both of these here. So hopefully now, this is going to mean that these are all going to run really nicely inside here. So I'm going to change them back over. I'm not going to show you the process because I've already done this once. Change them over and then we'll see where we're at. All right guys, so I've got the plates back on now. You can see the polished frame rails in there. So we've also got our slightly lighter valve locker spring in here, which hopefully will help things along a little bit. So that goes in there. We can use our stock rollers, which again I have slightly rounded off. I could have done with mirror polishing these as well, but I think this will be fine for now. Okay, that seems to go in there pretty well. That's a hell of a lot better than it was. A lot better. Okay, well that's promising. So let's get this back in the body then. Let's just try it out. Oh god, yeah, that is a noticeable improvement. Plus, there's no lube in that yet at all. Right, let's get the receivers together. And then we can try it out. Okay, don't know how much gas we've got in the mag, but we'll try it. So that's locked back nicely. Seems to be working well. Double tap. Right. Yeah, working great. So there we go. So the BOWMASTER plates. They are listed as stainless steel receiver frame set. If you get them, they're great. They've got all the right markings, which is fantastic. However, bear in mind, you are going to need to mirror polish those rails. Again, 1200 wet and dry paper with a little block that's the right size. I used like this little block here, just running it up and down inside the rails, and that will do the job nicely. Bear in mind that's with no other modifications other than that lighter valve locker spring, which in my opinion makes all the difference. Now there's still a little bit of resistance, but that's obviously from cocking the hammer, but it's far reduced with that slightly lighter valve locker spring. So yeah, so far looking good. Now from what we've done so far, what I would now like to do is probably going to do a gas efficiency test again, and just to see where we're at, if we've improved it at all, if we've made it worse. So we are going to test that. But once we've done that, if all is well, what I then want to do is try and increase the rate of fire slightly, make it slightly more snappy. I mean, it's snappy anyway, but the double tap is pretty good. But I'd really like that really fast rate of fire that's associated with the Kriss Vector. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.